After Harry had turned 17, the Dursleys was forced to leave their house after the protective charm expired. But where did they go? What happened to them when Voldemort was defeated? Did they return home? I'm gonna answer all these questions and explain to you the departure of the Dursleys. The Dursley family is the only known living close relative of Harry Potter. They lived at 4 Private Drive in Little Winging. They often went out of their way to keep their neighbors oblivious to anything strange about their family, usually explaining away anything strange by telling people that Harry was a delinquent who went to a detention school far away. They were the last people you would expect to be involved in anything strange or mysterious, because they just didn't hold with such no sense. The Dursleys were the Muggles that took in Harry Potter after Lord Voldemort killed his parents. He was brought by Albus Dumbledore to the Private Drive. Vernon and Petunia were afraid of Harry's connection to magic, so they did hide the fact that he was a wizard. They also greatly neglected Harry, facing him to stay in a cupboard under the stairs. They treated their son Dudley far better by spoiling him and giving in to the boys' orders. In the summer of 1997, Petunia, Dudley, and Vernon was placed under the protection of the 2 members of the Order of Phoenix, as it was believed that once Harry Potter turned 17, Voldemort would track down all members of his family and turn the information out of them. Vernon, his wife, and his son all lived together. He did not care what would happen to Harry. Vernon was about to shake Harry's hand goodbye, but because of his dislike of both Harry and magic, he refrained from doing so at the last second. He left as quickly as possible, hoping to save himself from what he only knew as a very bad and powerful wizard, Lord Voldemort. Harry's cousin Dudley Dursley eventually came to regret his cruelty towards Harry. This was mostly due to an incident in the summer before Harry's first year of schooling that involved him saving Dudley from a Dementor. Dudley made at least one known attempt to make up with Harry. Dudley placed a cup of tea outside Harry's room. However, Harry initially misunderstood this as another prank, as Dudley has placed the cup on the floor and Harry stepped on it by accident. When Dudley was attacked by the Dementors, he saw himself for the first time as he really was. It was an extremely painful but ultimately useful lesson and began the transformation in him. He shook Harry's hand and thanked him for saving his life. Petunia watched her son offer the first words of acceptance Harry had ever heard from Dudley, and she burst into tears on Dudley. Petunia walked towards the door to leave, looked back at Harry and opened her mouth to speak, but shortly after she perceived him back up and walked out. She stopped and looked back. For a moment Harry had the stranger feeling that she wanted to say something to him. She gave him an odd tremulous look and seemed to teeter on the edge of speech. Petunia, who wanted to wish Harry luck with his quest, but did not, and left Private Drive with her family. Dudley's adult life, he got married and became a father of 2. Vernon became a grandfather. It is possibly that he had a better relationship with Harry and that they remained in contact. Petunia became a grandmother and mother-in-law. Dudley and Harry remained on Christmas card terms, and Harry sometimes took his children to Dudley so that their children could play together. Their relationship wasn't as strong, but it was a major change from when they grew up. It is unknown if Dudley ever returned to Private Drive, or their family had stayed in the place they were relocated to, or if they have moved elsewhere. At some point before 2020, Petunia passed away. It was probably Dudley the one whom informed Harry of his mother's death. It was revealed that she kept the blanket that Harry was brought to her in when he was a baby, which was given back to him after her death.